Hey guys, this is Adam with Carnage Comics and Cars doing another arena feature with a Commander review. I don't have a very good name for this yet, but we're just going to go with it. So the deck that we're looking at today, I'm calling Scorpion Dragons because it features Ghired Mirror of the Wilds and Magda Hordemaster. So the idea here is to create as many treasures as possible. Breach's Eager Pillager, we got Gold Vein Hydra, and basically what we're doing is after we play Magda, we're going to play Ghired, and then we're going to double up the number of dragons that we're getting. So let's get into a game and see how this works. So I don't got a good name for this series. If you got a suggestion, you got something that you think might work, let me know in the comments. So this deck, like the others, is not competitive, but it's still a lot of fun. And that's what I try to do when I play arenas, just to have fun. But also try and, you know, beat some of these salty decks. And sometimes we get lucky. Generous Plunderer, there's only one of these. I wish I had more of these. This deck is still in the early stages of being developed, so I don't have all the cards yet. Generous Plunderer is a great card for this. So a lot of the cards in this standard deck are going to be featured in the Commander deck. The Commander is obviously Ghired. And it's about making big, giant, stompy tokens. Let's see what kind of deck this guy's got. Yep, gonna remove it. Yeah, probably a good choice. Good card. All right, we got one of our pieces. We need Magda now. Don't need that right now. I guess we'll pitch it. Basically, we're gonna filter down to try and find Magda. Probably play this next, unless you play something really scary. That's scary, but not a creature. Oh, there it is. Hey, might actually be able to show off what this deck can do. Okay. Though he may just remove it now. Let's see. Does he have a special land being removed? Yes, he does. So, kind of want to draw into a land now. Draw into a land. We can play this. We get our treasures, and then we're going to show what this deck can do. Token theme. Okay. Yes. Oh, it's a tapped land. That's not what we wanted. It's okay. Okay. Go ahead and do that. Don't need another one of those. Let's go ahead. What do we want to do? Could remove something. I think we just pass. Probably looking at this, thinking it's scary. Might just try and remove it. We'll see. If not, we're gonna get a bunch of. We're gonna get 4 dragons next turn, or 3 dragons rather. People don't see this coming because nobody plays Ghired Mirror of the Wilds in Standard. It's actually not bad. Oh, that's such a good card. That card is broken in Standard. Just broken, man. Don't understand how this is legal. Come on, what are you gonna find? Something good, I'm sure. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and do this now. Why not? I'll give us another treasure. Not that we need it. he not want to lose a token still? That'd be silly. He's going to get a bunch of tokens. What you got, bud? Probably going to lose this game if I'm being honest, guys, but we should be able to show this off because he's tapped out. So we'll be able to drop this next turn. I don't know why it takes you 10 minutes to find a basic land. Probably some lag on his side, I assume. There we go. Okay. Um, there we go. If we just had one more land, right? He doesn't have any more special lands, or we could have it actually. That won't do us any good. Ooh, that's what we needed. We need to remove this. I think we just do this, and we just remove, I guess, one of these. One of these. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll remove one of those. Okay, so now we're going to create our copies. Copy the dragon. Copy the dragon. Get 12 damage. And that's what this deck is about. The commander deck I have that we're going to feature has Magda, but it's mostly about, wow, okay. I think we may have just lost. Yep. See, and that's why that card is so good. 18. 18. Gotta be kidding. And another one. Might be too little, though. 4, 8, 12. 12. No, he's got enough to do, yeah, to just straight up win. That's nuts. It's a close game, though. And we got to show off what we were trying to do. Like I said, still early stages. I think that shows how that deck works, though. Like I said, it's not super competitive. I think that's enough for our demonstration purposes. Let's go ahead and move into the commander segment. Hey guys, this is the commander portion of the video now, looking at Ghired Mirror of the Wilds. So we just got this deck down to 100. Let's take a look at what's in it. The most expensive card is probably the Vault-Born Tyrant that reads, whenever Vault-Born Tyrant or another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life and draw a card. When Vault-Born Tyrant dies, if it's not a token, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types, and it's a 6/6 for 7. So, what's great about that is that you can use it to tap to create a token, or once it dies, it becomes a token, then can be, duplicated with Ghired Mirror of the Wilds. So the cool thing about this deck as well is that it's kind of got a worm sub theme to it. So this is I have it called Stompy Tokens, but I think I might rename this to something to do with Tremors because it's too cool. It's got all these giant worms. So it's got the Impervious Great Worm for 10. You can convoke it out, but it's a 16/16 indestructible. It's also got, let's take a look at some of these other worms. World Spire Worm. When it dies, you put a 5/5 worm creature token with trample onto the battlefield. When it's put into the graveyard from anywhere, shuffle it into its owner's library, and it's a 15/15. We also have, let's see here, Crush of Worms. Put 3 6/6 worm creature tokens into play. We have Armada Worm. Whenever it enters, you create a 5/5 green worm. an advent of the worm, which is just create a 5/5 worm creature token. So yeah, so lots of worms. Also, Grothama, all devouring. Other creatures have whenever this creature attacks, you may have it fight Grothama, all devouring. When it leaves the battlefield, each player draws cards equal to the amount of damage dealt to Grothama this turn by sources they control, and it's a 10/8. So really cool piece of theme in this deck, along with the tokens. So basically, and then we also, of course, have the Magda thing going on. And so we have breaches to create our treasures. And we also have the Bone Horde Dracosaur, which is going to create us treasures. So basically, we can create those scorpion dragons. Probably need to add a few more pieces, but well, right now I'm really happy with how this deck looks. So let's take a look at some of these other pieces. So we have a couple of haste enablers. We have anger. If it's in the graveyard, you have a mountain. Everything you have has haste. And the other piece we have for haste is Rhythm of the Wild. So creatures come in, they can either have haste or a 1/1 counter. So those are our haste enablers. Our draw is going to be Beast Whisper, Dracosaur, Garruk's Uprising. Almost everything is 4 or greater, so this is going to draw us a lot of cards. We already looked at these two. We have 1 copy spell. Whenever a non-token creature enters battlefield, you may pay 1 red. If you do, create a token of that creature. So, and then it gains haste, and you exile it. So the thing is, you can create a token, right, of something coming in, tap Ghired or one of your other creatures, and create a copy. Well, that copy doesn't get exiled. Only the one created by Flame Shadow Conjuring does. Same thing with Vaultborn Tyrant. So when it dies, right, it creates a token. So, but you can create a token copy of it with Ghired, and you can still get to double up the effect here of gaining 3 life and drawing a card. So, all right, our finishers are obviously the Imperious Great Worm, and then we have 2 Overrun effects. We have Overrun itself, and then we have Overwhelming Stampede. These are self-explanatory staples pretty much, so I'm not really going to explain those. We do have Trostani as our life gain, so whenever another creature enters, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Then you can pay 3 and populate. Populate means you get to create a token that's a copy of a token that you already control. So a copy of a token. So a token of a token. All right, so we have a couple of landfalls. We have Rampaging Balos, which is a 6 cost, and every time you drop a land, you create a 4/4 beast. And then this is a new card, Spring Heart Nantuko. You get to bestow it, so you get to enchant a creature with it, and that enchanted creature has +1/+1. And then anytime you drop a land, you can pay 2 to create a copy of that creature. So you can copy any creature that you want, and then you can create copies of those copies with Ghired. Really cool synergy there. We have 4 pieces of protection, Arachnogenesis, which creates us a bunch of spiders, which we can then copy if we want to. I don't think we really will, just a form of protection to create more tokens, which could then drop us an Imperious Great Worm. Druid's Deliverance, which has got the populate effect, and then Rootborn Defenses again, it's got populate. And then, all right, so looking at the rest of our ramp, we have a few mana dorks. We have the new mana dork, which is Fanatic of Ronus, and we're not going to have any problem getting this to tap for 4, which is going to help us to drop our really big beastie worms. And then even if it gets removed, we get to eternalize it. This is a great card. Probably undervalued right now, but also plenty of them out there. Growing Rights of Itlimoc. We got Invasion of Zendikar, Llanowar Elves, Magda, of course, Nature's Lore, Innkeeper, because we got all those tokens we're creating. 3 visits, and then Virtue of Strength. If we can get this down for 7, it's going to make it really easy for us to drop these giant worms that we really want to play. We have just the few pieces of untap, so this allows us to untap things because this is a tap ability, so we can tap everything and then untap to then allow us to basically create even more copies. Let's look at some of our other token creators that we have. So cool thing, this has got Myriad. So Myriad, they get exiled at the end of combat and their tokens. So if you copy those tokens, those don't get exiled. Only the ones created by Myriad actually get exiled. So you get to keep 4/4s, which is really cool. And then we have Court of Embereth, which is a obviously upkeep effect. Desolation Twin, which is going to create us a giant Eldrazi. No Annihilator, because Annihilator is stupid. I hate Annihilator. Dino DNA, which is going to, again, tokens, more tokens. Token, 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 right? Ghired Conclave Exile. This is the other Ghired, which is going to allow us to create a 4/4 green Rhino creature token with trample, and then it allows us to populate. Giant Adaphage. This is a really fun card. So whenever it deals combat damage, you get to create a token that's a copy of Giant Adaphage, and Adaphage is a 7/7, so a giant stoppy token which you can then copy. Godsire, same thing. You can tap it to create an 8/8. So then you can copy that 8/8 and so on and so forth. And we got a couple ways to basically duplicate our tokens. Life Finds a Way, Parallel Lives, and then Primeval Bounty. This is just a value card. Quartzwood Crashers. I've seen this in tons of Dino decks, man. This thing just does work. It's going to create you some giant dinosaur beast creatures every time it hits. Double up our tokens for each token that we have, and then we just have this early guy which got squat 3, and then anytime you create a token you put a 1/1, so it's just going to build up over time, and if you get this late you can create a bunch of them. Just really cool piece there. 9 pieces of removal. We got one interesting piece here. It's this Sundering Growth, which is, it got the removal for artifact or enchantment, but then it also does the populate thing, so just putting populate on top of it. And that's pretty much the deck, guys. So if you have any comments or questions, drop it in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.